Welcome back to All Things ETH. My name is Aaron, and on this channel, we talk about all things Ethereum. We talk about projects, NFTs, play to earn, and price. And today, guys, I've got the head dev and founder of Ghast protocol today joining me for an AMA. So let's jump on into it. So Junion, thank you for joining us today. It's an honor to have you. I'm excited to get to talk to you today. For those watching, Junion is the founder and lead dev, I understand, at Ghast protocol. Correct me if I'm wrong, Junion. How did you get started with Ghast?
Yeah, so I didn't come up with this idea. So Frosty was the one who started all, but yeah, I am the lead dev. It kind of started. Frosty is really into the GMD ecosystem. He was just thinking about ideas, thinking about how we could utilize GMD receipt tokens in a more capitally efficient way. And right, like he was thinking about strategies where you can borrow against those tokens and then possibly loop them to get even more yield. So he found me. He was looking for developers, and that's how I joined the Ghast team. And over time, I kind of got more involved, and I started taking over like a lot of the community.
Love your community over there in the Discord. If you're not familiar, guys, go check that out. I'll leave a link in the description to go check out, or an invite to their Discord for sure. And tell me a little bit more about what Ghast is for those who are watching.
So Ghast is a liquidation-free money market. Currently, we have 3 lending markets for USDC, wrapped Bitcoin, and wrapped ETH. So the idea is pretty simple. You can take GMD USDC. If you're not familiar, this is a delta-neutral vault that's value goes up, and it gets yield through GMD's yield. So we take that token, you can lend it on our platform, and you can borrow, let's say, USDC. And this lets you essentially take GMD USDC, borrow USDC, and then deposit it back into GMD USDC and loop it to earn yield. And one thing that differentiates us from any other lending market is we are liquidation free. So we're set up in a way, because the assets are correlated, it's essentially nearly impossible to get liquidated with the way things are set up.
Yeah, it's super cool tech. I think you guys are the only one doing this specifically. I know you guys are a couple competitors out there. Tenderfi, I know, also takes the GMD receipt tokens in their lending markets, but they're not doing it the same way where you can only borrow ETH against GMD ETH inside of Ghast, and same with USDC. You can only borrow USDC against your GMD USDC. So first to market there for sure. And again, those are the GLP vaults, right, on GMD?
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, so for those who are not familiar, GMD GLP vaults are delta neutral, backed by the treasury at GMD, and so you don't participate in the price volatility as much of the underlying GLP token, but you do get that estimated 15 to 25% APR for the year. And so our GMD, USDC, ETH, and BTC tokens all get to participate in that 10 to 15% estimated. And so they gain value over anything you would borrow inside of Ghast, which keeps it from being liquidated, which is just a great mechanism to not only continue to get yield, but to be involved in yield farming as well, being able to take that ETH, maybe use it somewhere else. I personally have thrown it into Silo and Granary to borrow USDC against, and then I farm with that. I'm sure there's plenty of other strategies out there. If you wanted to, you could probably short ETH. You could long USDC. You could do all kinds of strategies. So, do you have any recommendations for strategies in particular? It's an interesting mechanism, having to lend ETH, and you could just lend your GMD ETH tokens or GMD USDC tokens. But on the other hand, what are you hearing people strategizing with borrowing the like asset?
Yeah. So one thing that's great about Ghast is it essentially unlocks capital from your money that would have just been locked in GMD. So before, people would have GMD USDC and it's kind of just sitting around in their wallets. You can just use this as collateral and essentially max borrow against that collateral. So one strategy, which is we've seen happen, is just looping. You borrow USDC, you deposit it right back, you just keep borrowing, and you'll make money because the borrow APR is below what GMD is giving you. Another strategy is you could just use that as extra flexibility, right? So you have your GMD tokens, but whenever you want extra money to yield farm, you can just borrow it and deposit it into somewhere else that's yielding higher. So we've also seen people, they'll take their GMD ETH, for example, they'll borrow ETH and they'll deposit it right back into our own markets itself, right? Because we're yielding like 14% here. So if you borrow it at 6%, you're still making money. So, anywhere there's profitable opportunities, anywhere you see there's positive yields that's like greater than the borrow APR, you can just, you don't have to sell your GMD tokens. You can just borrow against them, and it gives you that, it unlocks that capital.
That's great. That's great. Can you clarify what the APR is in Gas in particular? Is it just the underlying GMD APR, or is it compounded with some sort of Gas token or the GHA token, or is it a combination of the both?
Yeah, so there are a few interest rates here at play. So let me clarify on how those all work. So as for borrow APR, this is just completely denominated in the native currency. So if I'm borrowing $100, maybe next year I'll owe $108. This is completely in USDC. Same with the supply APR. A lot of it is in the native token. So you will be earning USDC if you lend it, but you will also be receiving reward APR in the form of GA and SGA. So those are some nice bonuses we give to incentivize depositors. And then finally, there's just the native GMD yield. We don't take any of that. So if you deposit GMD tokens into our platform, you still earn 100% of the yield GMD gives you. And it's accrued through the GMD platform. We don't pay any interest to that, but you get like the full vault APR.
Okay, interesting. So so the deposit APR right now is in whatever token you're depositing. So just to clarify, you do keep the GMD token yield. Is that separate from these APRs that you're showing right now?
Yeah, it's not shown on our dashboard, but it's just whatever GMD displays on there.
Right. So right now, GMD ETH, I think, is at like 18%. So that's not included in the supply APR currently.
No, so supply APR shows the APR for lending USDC to borrowers. That's on the lending tab. But if you're on the borrowing tab, the 18% you were mentioning would be on the GMD vault assets.
Excellent. So one thing that I just wanted to differentiate you guys with, and in those that are familiar with using GMD inside of TenderFi, I think TenderFi is only showing, you're not actually getting any bonus on lending to TenderFi. You're only getting the underlying GMD yield, is what I understand, as their APRs are in lockstep with those listed on GMD's dashboard. So it's cool to see that you guys are adding to that.
Yeah. So I know in TenderFi it shows like it'll show like 18% for GMD USDC. We also offer that same yield, but we do incentivize the lenders themselves. So this allows you to get cheaper borrow APRs.
So now that we've kind of walked through what Ghast is, do you mind just taking a minute to talk about your journey in crypto, kind of getting in a little bit more personal side of you and how you got started? I also want to talk about what your experience was with the Launchpad and these sorts of questions. Do you mind if we go into that?
Yeah, of course.
Awesome. So so just give me a quick, like 20,000 foot overview of how you got started in DeFi in particular.
Right. DeFi is great, and I'm really glad I discovered it. So I got into crypto during the pandemic, just like
Just like most of us.
yeah. It was just like just like looking at cryptocurrency, it's like very small amounts, not really that too big into it. But I really got into DeFi starting with DeFi Summer or DeFi Summer 2. This is when there were Polygon incentives on Aave. This was so fun because I just had a bunch of ETH, but I didn't know what to do with it. And I realized I could bridge it to Polygon and, lend it on Aave, and earn like Matic tokens. And I think this is like, this made me like, this is really fun back then. I remember checking my Aave dashboard every day to collect $5 of Matic. But yeah, like one of my early favorite platforms are just lending platforms. I thought it was really cool. Like you can just lend and borrow anything, and you get rewarded for it. And are you familiar with like when there was like these incentives? Like it was really profitable to fold.
I got into DeFi a little bit later, so it was just after DeFi Summer that I started getting into, and actually got into it through play to earn. So I started in Axie Infinity. I actually got into ETH, had bought some ETH on Coinbase or whatever, just was holding it, but then found out about Axie Infinity, got into the gaming side of things, and then once they opened their like DeFi back end, so they started the running chain, and they started giving rewards to RON holders and AXS holders and these sorts of things, and starting liquidity pools, and that's how I got into DeFi. So it was a little bit after DeFi Summer, but I was definitely there with you, like checking my balance every day, like how much more AXS did I get, how much more SLP did I get, just that $5 was just like is a dopamine hit like every morning.
Yeah, I know, it's like really fun. It's like an idle game, but with real money.
Yeah.
And I got hooked onto it. I really love DeFi. And then I realized, I could farm more efficiently by making smart contract scripts. And that's kind of how I learned Solidity. So like most of my early development was just for myself, just making these like smart contracts that would only be used by me to like automate the farming process. And then like over time, I got on a few projects, and Ghast here is the first main one I've been working on. I really like lending, and I think it suits what I like building.
Did you have a computer science background before you started in Solidity, or did you teach yourself that kind of out of necessity, or out of just the joy of DeFi? Or
Yeah, I'm familiar with like programming before this, mainly in JavaScript, but Solidity is very, very unique. I had to teach myself that, but once you learn it, it's not that bad of a programming language compared to other similar languages. It's very like strict, and like you have to have it's very type based. So you can't like interchange variables. You have to be very strict on what you use. Once you learn like what to use, and it becomes pretty straightforward.
Cool. Now you do you have a YouTube channel as well. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Awesome. What kind of content do you do on your YouTube?
Right. So I started YouTube for a completely different reason. To DeFi, I was just it's just like a hobby. But I made my first Ethereum video, and it blew up. It got right now it's at like 100,000 views, but that's when I was still getting into crypto. But I think after that is when I realized I wanted to start doing like crypto or DeFi full time, because I realized that's really the content I enjoyed making. So I right now I've privated all my old non-crypto videos, but yeah, I make DeFi explainer videos. I just want to make like quality content within DeFi that's shill free, because I'm not doing it for money or anything. I just like a passion project.
That's really good. Helping people understand DeFi is what sounds like you're doing, and same here. It's just getting the kind of the word out. I think we're gonna I hate to use a cliche, but we're early, I think, still. And there's plenty of people that don't understand or don't really know where to get started with this stuff. But I'd like to move on to, how was your experience with GMD Launchpad, and how did you have a lot of communication there? I understand that GMD Crimson either knew you or your partner in Ghast, and so walk me through the process and give me kind of the highs, like what, and just any, I guess if I'll ask too if you have any criticisms at the end of this, but let's start with just what was that like?
We got onto GMD Launchpad basically through Frosty. Frosty had the connection there, but once that was established, I got really close with Crimson, talked a bit with Saul. They're all very good people, and it was great seeing us launch on GMD Launchpad, and then later we got on GND, which is really great that we have this sustaining source of liquidity. As for the process, I think a lot of people point to GMD Launchpad as being a really big bullish catalyst for us at Ghast. I don't know if we could have gotten the same attention we did if it wasn't for GMD Launchpad. It sold out really quickly on GMD. It got a lot of attention, so that was really great there. In terms of criticisms, though, I'm not sure if everybody is aware, but it does cost us money to list on GMD. So we did give them tokens, we did give them USDC, but we think it was worth it because all the attention we got, they handled the pre-sale, they handled the liquidity. It was really great working with them. They're really good partners, and we're glad to be in the GMD ecosystem.
That's awesome. Actually, I think this is public information, but I believe they've lowered the entry fee. Or from my perspective, I'm one of the moderators, not part of the core team, but I do get some information from the team. I believe they're changing their entry fee from 5% to like 2.5% or 3% or something like that. I don't know if that translates to what you're talking about in particular, but I do think they possibly took that criticism if you gave it to them, and are lowering the entry level, if you will, on the fee on the way in. But I'm really glad to hear that it was a good experience. My experience too has been really good with working with the team over there. Again, I might be moderating and I might know a lot about those ecosystems, but I'm not personally involved with the day-to-day of the project. So it's good to hear. It's good to hear that you're having a good experience, because I'm also doing so, and just gives me more confidence in the team myself as well. How important was it to have that liquidity in GND and have it right there? Do you think it would have been possible to go from $8 at priority sale to, I think you guys went up as high as 70 on the GA token within days of launch?
Yeah, liquidity was definitely important for us. We changed our tokenomics before launch, and one of the few criticism, I guess, was not that much liquidity on our token. So we have these massive pre-sales, but then we only provide I think it was 200K or 100K of liquidity. That's just not enough if everybody wants to dump their tokens, get out, because we need liquidity to ensure our price is stable after launch. So we did revise it. We increased the protocol liquidity. And what's great about GND is it provides concentrated liquidity. So this allows our liquidity to be more effective between those ranges. Yeah, all the attention we got is definitely a key factor of why we were able to climb so high to those aforementioned prices of $70.
Yeah, how do you guys feel now? It's 2, 3, 4 weeks after kind of give me the run up to launching. I mean, you just launched within the last 24 hours, so congratulations on that. But talk to me about the launch process leading up to launch, from the priority sale to launch. I guess you guys had an audit that went through, and you were really smart, I think, to take the time to make sure that got through. Talk to me about that process.
Yeah. So thanks. So we we just launched, and I think we had a great launch. We had a good amount of deposits, and it was great knowing that Paladin fully looked over our code before launching. So for the launch process, like yeah, we know we took a long time to launch, and there's a lot of FUD surrounding that. Like when launch, is this just a cash grab? They just want token and they never launch product. But security is a really high priority for us. We want to launch and we want to make sure that there's no possible exploits, because lending is inherently risky, because if there's possibly one bug, that could lead to all funds being hacked. So we made sure we got an audit with Paladin, and that took a bit longer than expected. And I'll be honest, the time leading up to launch was also pretty stressful. I felt like there was a lot of pressure on just our product to succeed, and a lot of people just waiting for product. But we're really glad we were able to launch. We think launch went great. We have a lot of deposits. Our product is working.
That's good. So can you just give me a real quick overview of like what TVL looks like 12 to 24 hours in?
So initially APRs were super high because we were just handing out the gas tokens for depositors. And then one whale deposited like $1 million, like $500,000 into USDC and $500,000 to ETH. And that was great. So if you saw the announcement, an hour after launch, we literally had 1.5 million TVL. Okay, I think incredible. That kind of crowded out some depositors. So like we saw like a slight decrease afterwards, but right now we're looking at around $2 million of TVL last time I checked. So this is really great. There's a lot of users who are just depositing their GMD tokens and borrowing. So you can see in total borrows, like people are clearly using our product. It's not just yield farmers who want the supply APR. Like right. These are genuine users looping. We also saw that like GMD's vault caps, like there was high demand for that as well. Like even the Bitcoin vaults closed because of us. So we're really glad that we were able to service our core users.
Yeah, that's awesome. From my perspective, we saw an announcement in our Discord on GMD saying, "Hey, we got to jump these Bitcoin vaults up because we're seeing them capped already because of the new transactions in Ghast." And I think the cooperation there is what is going to really help these ecosystems. I think a lot of people, speaking of ecosystems, think that you guys are underneath GMD, and I just want to clarify, like, what's your perspective on that? I think a lot of people, like on Twitter, they'll tag GMD, GND, and GHA now, like. Or does that feel a little disingenuous, or is that like a legit situation?
Yeah, so we are not the same team, but it does kind of feel like that. Like we are this family of products. G3, that's us. Because we're all working very closely. I have good communications with GMD Crimson especially. So even if he's not necessarily on the team, it kind of feels like he does, and we talked a lot about like how to launch our product, how to make sure vault caps are increased. And this level of collaboration, like if we just launched isolated, it wouldn't be as great as we have right now because we can just easily communicate with each other.
That's awesome. I think we really want to support you guys as much as possible, and I love that. And you take it really well. What did Crimson and Saul take any part in guidance through that stressful period before launch with the audit as well?
Yeah, definitely. So I asked Saul like a few questions about his code, kind of, but Crimson was definitely really helpful there in like guiding us how to launch our product, like when launch, or like how to deal with community, especially because he's very good at what he does, and the advice he provided, it really helped us.
That's awesome. That's really good. Speaking of audits, on Twitter you mentioned that the Euler hacker actually reached out to you, or at least there was some sort of connection there. Did that play any effect on your timing for launch and making sure that you got through your audit?
Well, that was pretty funny, but no, not really. It was just we were already in the audit process. We were already set on having this um, this strong audit with Paladin. Yeah, it was pretty funny. Like I checked Twitter and the Euler hacker is following me. Yeah, but yeah, it's a very similar product to us. Euler is lending platform. They got hacked for $200 million, but the hacker returned all the funds, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I was actually
Yeah.
intimately involved with that, the stress of that. I had I had I think it's just one ETH on zk.money. So they were using Euler inside of zk money, and I had one, like, I don't know if you use zk money at all. It was Aztec network, right? And so I deposited an ETH there, and then I was yield farming with Euler inside of their lending to through the market. And so I was like, I was there during the hack, and so I was like intimately following their Discord and watching all the updates with the smart contracts notifications and stuff like that. It was pretty interesting, but it's cool to hear that from your perspective, at least, it sounded like he had a heart change and maybe not necessarily a white hat, but like came in and decided to maybe do the right thing after making a mistake.
Yeah, it also made for a really great video.
Yes. So what's next for Ghast? You have the GMD tokens are currently the only thing you have available for the lending markets. Is that going to expand?
Yeah, we're looking to expand beyond GMD's products. So the next product in mind would be GND and XGND. So two-sided lending market, lend GND and borrow XGND, or like vice versa. It should be lend XGND and borrow GND. That's the main use case there.
That's
We
really
also are
fascinating.
looking, yeah, we're also looking into liquid staking derivatives. So I'm sure you've seen GETH.
Yes. In fact, I just posted a video on
Uh,
that yesterday.
yeah, nice. Um, yeah, so a market where you can lend your liquid staking derivatives and borrow ETH to loop that. That's something we'll also have in mind.
Yeah, that's really exciting. Actually, you mentioned that in the video that you guys are kind of the premier lending market for GETH when it does launch. Pretty excited about that, to be honest. I've got as my channel is called All Things ETH, my YouTube and my and Twitter as well as Discord name is All Things ETH, and as you can imagine, I've got not a ton, but I'm pretty ETH centric, and very much looking forward to putting some of my LSDs into the ecosystem, and then obviously being able to lend them in Ghast is going to be advantageous for capital efficiency.
Yeah, sounds good.
Awesome. Well, congratulations. Thanks again for taking the time today to talk about your experience in the Launchpad and also getting to launch. Congratulations. I mean, you've launched. It's awesome. This is your first product, right?
Yeah, thanks.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, I look forward to more to come for you and the Gas team, and for you personally. I understand that you're working on other things too. So I look forward to continuing to follow up on that, and perhaps we'll do one of these with whatever next project there might be.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. Well, be sure to check out Junion's YouTube channel. I'll link that below. Let's also make sure that you're checking out their Discord over at Gasp Protocol. I'm not going to shill the token because do that for yourself, but not financial advice. But I think it's going to be great for you guys, and especially with this TVL at launch. Congratulations there, and just want to wish you guys great success. So thanks again for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks for watching All Things ETH. I hope that you enjoyed this AMA with the Gasp protocol head dev Junion, and be sure to check out some of the links I've created below for you, Discord invite, as well as a link to Gasp protocol and Junion's personal YouTube channel where you can learn a lot about DeFi content just like this. And like, subscribe, hit the notification bell for more information on DeFi in particular. Thanks for watching, and God bless.